Good morning and welcome back to the workshop. Well, it's a lovely day. I have an engine here that's all ready to go. All the bits are bolted on it. I have a chassis which is rolling, and now we have another winch. So, can only mean one thing. The engine is going back in the chassis. Let's do it.
So yes, it's a pretty big day here at the Old Rope Salvage workshop. For anyone new here, it might not look like much, but it's been 2 years since we hauled this engine out of what was the rusting old chassis of a 1975 Bedford Firetruck and set about the mammoth task of restoring the whole thing, nut by bolt, into what we hope will very soon be the perfect base vehicle for our rolling home on wheels and expedition vehicle to be. We've had zero outside help on this project and a lot of ups and downs along the way. So getting the engine back in, looking so good in its controversial, but we don't care because we love it, vintage cream paint is a huge milestone for us and brings us one giant step closer to startup day. Too impatient to wait for me to finish work and help out, Tim managed to get the engine back in all by himself, something he couldn't have managed without the help of the winch kindly loaned to us from our friend Steve. Not that it wasn't without its surprises. Might need a change of undercrackers after that one. Not to worry though, folks. After his little scare, you may now note that Tim has it all under control with the strategically placed crash mat under the engine. So, you know, absolute confidence is now restored.
Well, that wasn't too bad. There's a lot of pushing around and going backwards and forwards, but yeah, we eventually got it back in and looking really good. I'm really happy about this. This is brilliant. Another landmark. Thanks very much to Steve Lees for lending me his winch there. It's been invaluable. It meant I could do it on my own, and now makes putting the cab back on going to be a lot easier. He did warn me a little bit as well that if you don't get the chains completely lined up, it has a habit of jumping a little bit, and I thought, that'll be fine. And the first time it did it with the engine going down, I was like, whoa, jeez. But it was okay, it was really good. And yeah, being able to do it like just one-handed, it made a lot of difference. So that was really good. Yeah, and I'm really glad about getting the engine in. Just got to work on the gearbox and the other bits and pieces to go back in it. Brilliant, engine's in. Cool. That looks good. Right, in the tent, one large piece, missing part of the puzzle, the truck puzzle we have in there. I'll show you. I have the last big piece, the gearbox. It's been cleaned up, all the sludge taken out the bottom of it. I've gone over with the angle grinder with a wire wheel, hand sanded it with some 120 grit paper, degreased it all completely, and I'm going to paint it with the epoxy and 2-pack paint. The lid's off it here, so I've taken it apart, and that's kind of so that I can paint it in one go, because it's really difficult with these things. You have to think about how you're going to paint them. I can't hang it up or anything. Yeah, this is the best way I could think of to doing it. So yeah, the gearbox is upside down here, and yeah, mix some paint up and paint this thing. I'll get on with it, I suppose. Right, I'll put you here. Have your own little view. Well, that's one coat on. I'll have a quick check, see if I missed any bits, and I think it's about 10 minutes or something, put the second coat on. The beauty of this paint as well is because it's about 11 o'clock now, maybe 12 o'clock, I can get a second coat on, or the top coat, today with no sanding. As long as you get in the right window of time for the paint, I can possibly get in the top coat on today as well. See how it goes. But yep, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that the gearbox is in paint, or getting that way. Right. Alright, so with the engine now hanging in the chassis, I'm able to get to the back of it. So I've taken off this tray off the back, and it means I can access the clutch. Now I was just going to have a look at it, but I'm thinking while it's here I might as well just take it out and have a really good look at it. Only a few bolts holding it in, so yeah, why not take it out? Oh, you're going to be heavy. rust on you. Yeah. Don't know about you. Right. Bit of a clean up, I reckon. Alright, I'll get these out on the bench and have a good look at them, but there's still some meat in that, but I don't know how thick they should be. See if the book says. Yeah, cool. Clean these up, put them back in again, fix it all up, stick a gearbox on, job done. Feels pretty good actually. No ridges in it. Bit of surface rust, but there's hardly any wear on it. Cool. Done for some top coat. 3 hours later. Give it a go, see what happens. What colour, I wonder? Right, get the fan on. It's cream! Not more cream. That'll show the dirt. Gearbox looks lovely and creamy. I'm hoping to get this reassembled and put back in the truck today. I'm going to see how that goes. But up to this point now, the clutch, after I removed that from the truck, I made sure that was all cleaned up, had a good check of it all, and it all looked really good. Bit dirty, but it actually looked really good. So the friction plate looked really nice, and so basically I've reassembled that all back into the truck now, put it all back in exactly how it came out, following the book, greasing parts just a little bit where they're supposed to be. The release bearing looks really good, and that is all set up. I've put this box, which is the power takeoff from the old fire engine, in between onto the engine to make sure that that does go, slides back in again, so that when it's all connected up and is super heavy, I don't have problems. So hopefully this should all go back together. Now this is a bit that you don't normally get on one of these things. It is the main power takeoff for the engine, which would have driven the original pump. There are other places on one of these Bedfords where you can have a power takeoff. The transfer case has a point on it where you can take off power from that, and I believe there is one on the gearbox as well. But obviously there was a big pump driving on the fire engine, so it has this whole unit, which I have had to take completely apart and make sure it runs all smoothly and freely, because unfortunately at the moment we still have to retain it because of various different things. But basically I'm putting it back together again how it came apart. And yeah, there's some like weird bits with this, because if this doesn't seal well to the gearbox, we have potential for leaking oil, and I'm spending a bit of time working out exactly There were some seals made for it originally, but when I took it apart there was a lot of silicone as well. So I'm just trying to work out what the best way is to join these two together to not get any leaks. Once these are put together, I'm thinking I'm going to have to move the truck forward again and use the winch, because this is a heavy little thing to get in. So that's what we're doing at the moment.
Well, it was all going just a little too smoothly, wasn't it? So the problem here is with the PTO. As Tim said, the PTO fitted nicely onto the engine, but it did not want to go back onto the gearbox. The bearing needed to line up perfectly, and I mean perfectly, to get it to go back on again. It's also massively heavy, so this probably wasn't the best approach, as Tim is discovering here right in front of your eyes. But don't worry, speaking from the future, I can tell you that he does indeed find a way, as Tim always does, and he'll fill you in on it all in the next video. Until then, just enjoy the not very rare sight, around here at least, of watching a man struggle with the heavy pieces of a big truck.
Oh, go on. That's hard work. Oh.
Never felt the kind of love like this before. You took all
Radiator it's not crazy heavy, but it's a little bit awkward, and it has to go over into the hole. And we did manage to put it in once before, but there was less things around at the time, so I thought it would make it life a lot easier. As we've got this block and tackle here to lift it in there, and also when I do eventually work out the gearbox a little bit, I'll be able to use it for that, to get the gearbox in. But yeah, it's awkward, very awkward, but it'll get there. Makes my life a lot easier, although it's still not easy. Nothing is easy.
Never felt the kind of love like this before. You took all the worries from my mind. Darling, please forgive me if I stare a little more. I can't look away from those brown eyes. And if we settle,
I got my sandals on because I'm ridiculous health and safety.
don't be afraid of all the things that could go wrong. We can take our time and we may change our mind. But I can tell a good thing when a good thing comes along.
Just got to make sure with all these water pipes and everything that I don't sort of do them all up whilst the truck is sort of in pieces, because you can, I guess, end up where a point where you need to maintain it at a later date and get one of these clips off, and you can't get it off because you've put it on from the other side. So I'm leaving kind of some of them, or just thinking about them, so that I will be able to, like the hose pipes underneath here, I'll be able to get to them from the outside of the truck rather than them doing them up backwards, so that you can undo it. So I'm trying to double think, some of those aspects of it, which could be helpful at a later date. Yeah, like I think I will be able to get a screwdriver from that side, but not from this side. So I just make sure I put them on. Oh, Done it up too tight, haven't I? Look at that, these water pipes look lovely, don't they? They look like brand new, but they've just been sandblasted. And they literally came up, or any rust deposits on them or anything like that, they just came up like brand new. Smashing! Right, they'll all get done up one day.
Along with everything else.
Yeah. It's just finger tight's good enough at the moment.
It's just going to all completely fall apart as soon as you drive it out of here, isn't it?
Well, I hope not, but there's a good chance of that, yeah.
Just leaving a trail of lovely nickel-plated nuts and bolts.
Yeah. I've just got to double check that I'll be able to get a fan belt off. I think, yeah, you should be able to. Good. A bit worried about putting all this together and having no fan belts. I won't be able to get them in, but there's got to be a way, and if there isn't, I'd make a way, because obviously you need to be able to get to a fan belt. That's pretty cool, I'm glad. Yeah. But definitely get in there. Having 4 wheels put back on the truck and it being movable, as you may have seen in the last video, is quite a milestone in our project. Putting the engine back in, probably another one, and when the cab eventually goes back on, I say eventually, maybe it'll be soon, that will be another really big milestone. But there is another one. There's another one happening right now that is bigger than all of those. It probably wouldn't seem much to anyone else watching our videos, but we are so close. In fact, we've almost surpassed the sandblasting and finishing up of our items that we need for the truck. And in the tent right now is the last 2 wheels. I've probably been putting them off. I think I resent them a little bit because the bumper sections, which I have also done, and the wheels might get replaced anyway, so I felt a bit bad about spending time and effort painting these things when they might not. But they're the only wheels we have and they want to look nice, so I've done them. And yeah, all that is left is a very small amount of sandblasting of some metal parts which are going to be plated. It makes it quicker for me to plate them, so that's all I've got today. A few parts to sandblast for plating will be the end of the blasting. We can clean the place up and I am really looking forward to that. So one more go in the sandblasting tent and we'll be done.
How are you feeling on this momentous occasion?
I don't know what my feelings are. I'm not allowing myself to feel anything.
Just dead inside.
Just gonna get on there, get in there and do it. So yeah. They're on, fans on. Good day.
More than anything we've done on this huge truck project, and we've done a lot of different things, all challenging, the sandblasting has to have been the most endlessly physically gruelling of them all. But without it, we most definitely could not have restored the truck to anything close to the standard which sandblasting enabled us to do. Still, it's been exhausting. Fun at times, certainly in the beginning, and always incredibly satisfying and rewarding, but exhausting all the same. I for one will never forget the 6 weeks it took just to sandblast the chassis frame. Were we a bit crazy to do it ourselves? Maybe, but it's done now. And that means no more gritty bed sheets, or trips to the eye hospital, or sanding parts we never even knew existed. We are done. People, this was a really good day. Thank you as always for watching, and special thanks also to our fabulous patrons. Here they are. Thanks also to all the non-patrons, but the special friends and family who support us in all the many ways. Especially my mum, who emails me 3 times a week to tell me how great I am. Thanks, Mum.